It was December 1st, 2025, when I finally realized I cannot keep abandoning myself. And this had nothing to do with being skinny. This had everything to do with becoming a healthier version of myself that relies on the habits and systems that I created to lead a more healthy lifestyle for the future and for my overall well-being. So if you want to hear about how I went from this to this, I am going to use weight to talk about that because I do feel like it is the most tangible thing that I can point you towards, even though there are many things I have gained along this journey where so far I have lost 35 pounds out of the 97 that I am planning to lose this year. So if you want to know more about this health journey, everything I've been on, please follow along, sit down, get yourself a little cup of coffee, get yourself a little drinky, and let's talk Girlypop. Girlypop, so welcome back to the podcast. As you can see, we have rebranded. We are Let's Talk Girlypop, formerly known as the Cozy Babes Club. Most of the content is going to stay the same. We are just under a new brand image and new naming, new branding, new packaging. Okay, same delicious insides, but new packaging. So welcome back, everyone. It has been several months and I'm really excited to get into this. If you've never come across my podcast before and this is something that you were like, ooh, what's that about? I got you from the homepage or something. Welcome in, sit down. Today is actually a really special episode because I have been waiting to make this episode for what feels like a lifetime, at least from 2010. So it feels like this has been 16 years in the making. And this actually is going to be a 3 to 4 part series where I'm going to go over my health journey over the last few months. And then eventually there will be more episodes like this on the podcast, but they'll be a little more sporadic as my journey continues. And we'll go back to talking about all kinds of things. So just letting you know what is locked and loaded for the next several episodes. So if this is something that is interesting to you, I hope that you'll sit down, stay a while, enjoy the journey, and let's get into it. So I feel like the first point I really need to talk about in my health journey to losing the weight that I've lost, taking better care of myself overall, I need to first point out that I feel like I have to say this and I hate it, but it is the truth. We live on the internet now and there are so many people that are doing bean soup theory, which if you don't know about bean soup theory, it's basically where this one creator made a recipe that was 40 bean soup or something. And one of the top comments was, what if I don't like beans? It's the whataboutism for me. What if I don't want to lose weight? What if I don't care about health journey? Then you're in the wrong place, babe. What if I don't like how you chose to take care of your body? Then that's fine. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like it. Just move along. Frankly, these episodes maybe just won't be for you, but I know for a fact that there is a lot of my audience that has been waiting for these episodes. So these ones are for y'all. Anyways, let's not get into bean soup theory. Let's not do the whataboutism. Let's get into the breaking point story. The day that I quit abandoning myself and where that actually came from. So I'm not going to get into the past of I am going to also use words that pertain to me. So I will say the word fat. I don't think the word fat is offensive. Truly, it just is what it is to me. It is a neutral term. I'm not coming out here saying this word trying to offend everybody that feels some type of way about it. I use the word fat. I call myself fat. It is okay. It is a neutral term to me. Yes, I have excess fat on my body that I don't want on my body that causes more harm than good to my body. So I am going to use that word. If that is a word that if anything that I say offends you, granted, I do think it's important to be clocked sometimes, but I really do try to approach these things from a respectful place. But just know, if you're sensitive to topics like this, like I said, this probably just isn't the episode for you. But anyways, my story, I'm not going to get into the weeds of how long I have been fat, where all of that came from. That is just not where I exist right now. And maybe we'll cover it another time. But I really want to start from just this last December. So this last December, I was reading this book that I was prompted to read it because my husband and I we would like to have children. Okay. I'm going to be 35 next month. Okay. Happy Taurus season to my Tauruses. I'm going to be 35 next month. And for many, many, many years, I was child-free by choice, did not want kids. I still think that's a respectable choice for anybody that does not want it. I don't think we should be bringing children into the world from people that don't want kids. But something changed over the last few years, and my spouse and I would like children. And not to get too into it, but like we haven't really been preventing that from happening for quite some time. I want to say it's been about 3 years without prevention for the most part. And it just, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. I struggle with polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I knew that this journey might be a struggle, but I also knew I was not doing everything that I could be doing to get my body in the right place for conception. And I did go and see an OB. I did go see a primary care physician. I did not like either of those doctors and what they had to say. That's a whole other story for a whole other time. I have been so scarred by the medical system since birth that I definitely feel like that's a whole other topic that we could talk about another time. My medical health anxiety. But I felt like I just was not being helped. And I was like, well, if right now I don't want to do the legwork to find new doctors and I want to wait till the new year, what can I do right now? I'm not really moving my body. I know I'm not eating right. I am a certified holistic nutritionist. I have the certificate for that. I could be a practicing nutritionist if I wanted to be right now, but I don't. What can I do that would actually help me right now? I know there's a lot of things I'm not doing. And I started reading this book. I'll link it down below if you're curious. It is a book on PCOS and putting PCOS into remission. And I did learn a lot of really interesting things from this book. Do I think it is the holy grail, end all be all? This is the only book you need? No, but I think I take all knowledge in with that lens of I don't treat anything like it is the end all be all. I like to gather information and then make informed decisions. But this book, it was just talking about basically how to understand the severity of PCOS symptoms that you experience. And something that I noticed while I was reading this book was that the alarm bells were going off. The call was coming from inside the house. And I recognized that a lot of the things that were not going right for me, or that were actual issues, health concerns and issues, I was on the severe end of everything. And I was like, oh, this actually is way worse than I thought. And it's been this way for some time. And this really led me to this was the spark. This was the ignition, which I don't think to go on a weight loss journey to change something about your health. I don't think you need to have one of these. I think you can simply just make a choice and then act accordingly. But I won't lie. I think having a burst of motivation up front does help, but it's not necessary. You don't need to wait for this. You can make this decision right now if you're somebody that is struggling. And even if you're not struggling the way I'm struggling and you just want to lose some weight, you can make that choice now. You don't need to wait for a burst of inspiration. But I had kind of this supercharge of well, shit, there's a lot of things I'm not doing to take care of my health. And I know it. I know that I'm not moving my body enough. I know I'm not eating right. I know that I'm overweight, obese, actually. I know a lot of people are going to look at me and be like, Girl, you're not obese. Technically, by medical terminology, when I started this journey, I was class 2 obese. There are different classes of obesity, and no, I was not in the morbidly obese class, but I was still considered obese class 2. I am technically currently obese class 1 and very, very, very close to just being overweight, which can't wait for that moment. That'll be a celebratory moment because I have been class 2 obese for a very long time and now into class 1. Something else that I don't know if I've ever said, maybe on Instagram, because I've made a lot of Instagram content while I've been on my hiatus, by the way. If you're not following me there, I'm at Chloe Taylor. I've been posting a ton of stuff about my weight loss journey. So if you want to catch up, see some before and afters, things like that, definitely make sure you're following. But something I don't know that I've addressed on the podcast is that Before I decided to go on this journey, my health was in a very bad place. Like, I had sleep apnea. I was waking up with sleep apnea headaches, completely untreated, by the way. I did not have a CPAP machine. I am terrified of doctors. I have really bad health anxiety. I am in therapy for that right now. Me and my therapist are actively working on this. But untreated sleep apnea. I also had chronic heartburn. Like, I would have heartburn every single day without fail. And like, this might sound crazy, but I know there's somebody out there that needs to hear this. So I'm going to spill. I had heartburn so bad. I would fall asleep every night. I would buy these like tummy drop peppermint. They're like little peppermint candies that you can take them. They have like peppermint oil in them or something like that that helps with heartburn. Also, if you chew gum, any kind of like swallowing motion helps to keep heartburn at bay if it's really bad, which mine was chronic. I would put one of these candies in my mouth and then go to sleep. So I was also risking like a choking hazard because I couldn't take the over-the-counter medicine because I'm allergic to it. So I felt like I didn't know what else to do for this heartburn. I was terrified to go to the doctor and get any extra help. So like my health was not good. I couldn't walk from my dryer to my bed with a load of laundry without being winded. I couldn't walk 1/4 of a mile. I couldn't even walk 1/8 of a mile without having to stop and like huff and puff. And like, I was tremendously out of shape. I feel like even going back and listening to episodes of my podcast, there are so many episodes where I'm like catching my breath because I can't even talk and have a conversation without having to like stop and breathe. And I would cut a lot of those things out so you wouldn't see it. But yeah, it was like really bad. My health was not in a good place. Also, I was experiencing heart palpitations all the time. Like, I would be doing practically nothing, have a heart palpitation. I would be in bed. I would turn over, have a heart palpitation. And this is not me telling you these things because I want you to start diagnosing me in the comments. So please don't do that. Like, that actually really triggers my health anxiety. Please do not like, oh, I'm just worried about you. Oh, please be careful with this. Don't say any of that to me. I will immediately delete your comment and I will make it to where you can never comment again, because that is something that when I get into speaking with a doctor, I will let a medical professional handle it. It's just not, I know I'm talking openly about a lot of these things, but it's not because I want opinions or advice, especially with this specific thing. I get triggered very easily when it comes to my health, and I want to be vulnerable, but not at the expense of my mental health. So like, please just refrain. Please refrain. If you have had a health problem that sounds anything like these, I don't want to hear about your specific story. Go make a podcast and talk about your own experience. It's just very triggering. And so please, for my mental health's sake, do not do that to me. But yeah, so it was very bad. And I felt like my body was frankly just declining. And the thing is, I knew there were things I could do. Like I said, I'm a certified nutritionist. I knew that I could do certain things around food. I was learning more about PCOS while reading this book and things that trigger it. And so from there, I made the decision to go low carb. And I know that this is not for everybody. This is not me demonizing carbs. I need to make that so clear. I think that carbs are a healthy part of a balanced diet. I think the average person that doesn't deal with the complications that I have doesn't need to do that. Eat your carbs, please, for the love. The only reason I decided to do that is, I don't know if y'all know this about me, but every day I eat a super, super high protein breakfast. I was doing this before I started any of my like intentional weight loss journey. And before I had swapped to a high protein breakfast, I was typically eating just like whatever. And I would eat like a lot of rice and eggs or like waffles, pancakes. I would have really sugary coffee as well. And I would notice that I would crash. Not even 2 hours after I ate, I would literally need to take a nap, even if I slept a full night's sleep. And then like over a year ago, I started eating a high protein breakfast that would consist of like eggs, some kind of meat, whether it's sausage, bacon, turkey bacon, chicken sausage, salmon, smoked salmon, usually some kind of egg white, a protein shake. Sometimes I'll do like yogurt and cottage cheese with that, or, I have this up on my Instagram where I share exactly what I eat every day, for breakfast specifically. And I noticed that I stopped crashing. I noticed that when I was not eating a bunch of carbs in the morning, I quit crashing. And I was like, huh. And so then I dove into that more. And it turns out when you have insulin resistance, every time you're eating carbs, it does spike your insulin. And it is why it's important to have protein with your carbs if you're going to eat them. But I was noticing for my body that my body just reacted extremely poorly. And the times that I would refrain or decided to go low carb, I had so much more energy and I was so much more focused. So this was also a decision that I made, not because I was just like, oh, some wacko that doesn't know anything about me or my medical history told me that I needed to go low carb for PCOS. No, I actually did the work with myself and came to that conclusion on my own. So I'm not saying you need to be low carb. I'm just telling you that this is what worked for me. I decided to not just change my breakfast because I'd already done that, but I decided to start implementing low carb lunch and especially low carb dinner. So this, honestly, I've talked to so many friends about this too. And they've been like, Chloe, I don't know how you did that. It's so hard. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how to explain to you that this was not a difficult transition for me. I picked all kinds of recipes the first week that I was like, okay, what am I going to do when I really want pasta? And the keto people, they be knowing what's good. If I really want something like that, I just go with a keto recipe. I'm not keto, but a lot of the people in the keto community have recipes for those foods that I would miss. So I just started, and I don't eat that way every day. There are keto pasta recipes. Every once in a blue moon when I'm craving pasta, I make something from that that genre of meal, and it hits the spot every time. So I didn't let myself just go to eating bacon, ground beef, and broccoli every day. I went to oh, what are the foods I like and how can I make those in a low carb way? And oftentimes I actually find that I like the low carb option more because I'm also somebody that, and y'all know, I'm a little bit of a health nut. I kind of always have been. It's something the health and wellness era really, really grabbed me. And I love trying new things. I love when there's new things on the market that I get to try. That's fun for me. Let me loose in a Whole Foods or a Sprouts and just try new stuff. Love that. That's a fun day for me. So I also saw this as fun. I didn't see this as me losing out on a bunch of stuff. I was like, ooh, how can I make this experience fun? How can I get excited and intrigued to try new things and not focus on what I'm cutting out? And so, mind you, the first thing I really did was I went into my pantry and I donated or got rid of, because there was a lot of expired shit in there too. Clean out your pantry, y'all. Donated or cleaned out, or anything I couldn't donate, I got rid of. And I know in this economy that probably sounds fucking insane, but I also feel like there is a strong argument for why would you keep things that you know are not going to help and assist you? It kind of brings me back to that, oh, but there's starving kids in Africa. In this present moment, how am I, by not eating something on my plate or not eating something in my pantry, how am I hurting the starving kids in Africa? I'm sure many of you also grew up hearing that. So I don't know. I just feel like it gives that same thing. It is okay to decide that you're just not going to have that anymore. Give away what you can. Try to salvage what you can. I try not to be wasteful, especially in this economy. But that was really my first step, was going through and cleaning out the pantry and cleaning out my fridge. I am very grateful and very lucky in the sense that my spouse had a lot of the same struggles as me. He was struggling with I don't want to get into his health. That's his business. But we had a lot of similar struggle. And he was on board. He was like, whatever we're going to do, I'm in it with you. And we took on that challenge together and tried a lot of new things together. And that also made it kind of fun having somebody in on it with me. I know not everybody has that privilege where like you don't want to be cooking 2 meals. But what I would say to that, if you're someone that's like, oh, I would like to try to do that for myself, or this sounds interesting to you, is there are ways to do it. Like you can make the pasta for your family and keep the meatballs and the veggies on the side for you. Like, and if you really want the pasta, like you don't have to be on like a strict no carb diet. Like just portion out a half serving of those carbs, or you know what I'm saying? Like there are ways to go lower carb if you are introducing that into your life. I went very cold turkey. It was an overnight decision. One day I was eating everything. The next day I was a low carb queen. Now, why do I think this actually worked for me? I have to be so fucking for real. I think, and I will say this until I am blue in the face, I think the only reason that this worked for me so extremely well is that 3 months before I did this, I started therapy. And therapy has been a wonderful thing in my life. It has transformed my life in more ways than one. I love my therapist. She is a great match for me. I feel very fortunate to finally be in a position to get mental health care, because I have lived years of my life struggling to even want to be alive. And getting this care and being able to have it, I understand what a privilege it is. I understand not everybody has access. I have been somebody that has not had access, and it was really hurtful to my life, like to my life and to myself. And I feel like I have lost years of my life to mental health issues. So please know that like, if that's you, you're not alone. And like, there is hope. And like, when you can get to that place, it will be worth it. But I did start therapy in September, and my therapist and I don't really talk about eating disorders or anything like that. We talk mainly about like other problems that I'm having. But the thing is, something that I came to realize through therapy is that food for me was a coping tool. And that is something that I will die on the hill. I will kill other people on this hill, because in the year 2025, the year of the fire, or 2026, the year of the fire horse, and all this Aries energy, we are not dying on hills. We are unaliving people on these hills. Okay. We don't have time for all that. I will unalive people on these hills. Is that if you are somebody that has struggled with a fat loss journey or has wanted to lose a tremendous amount of weight and you feel like you haven't been able to do it, you do not need another diet plan. You do not need a new workout plan. You need a therapist. And it's not even because you need to discuss why you eat and why you do what you do. What I came to find is that my therapist and I didn't even focus on that. It just was a naturally occurring understanding that, oh, I use food as a coping tool. Whenever I'm feeling sad, I eat. When I'm happy, I eat. When I'm struggling, I eat. When I'm, whatever I'm feeling, food is always the thing. And it's been that way for my whole life. Food was the vice that I chose. I come from a family where there's a lot of addiction issues. I lost a sibling to addiction. And I think in my family, this was my poison of choice. It's just unfortunate because I'm never going to be able to just abstain and not eat, so I kind of have to learn how to navigate and live with it. But that said, I feel like the reason it worked is because I went to therapy. And if you're somebody that wants to undertake a similar journey, I cannot stress enough how important it will be, especially if you're somebody that has tried and failed numerous times. I cannot stress enough how important it is that you need somebody in your corner, whether it is a therapist or a coach. You need somebody in your corner to help you through that transition. And I feel like it was also building up my self-assuredness, my confidence through therapy, that also helped me to recognize that I could make these choices and stick with them. It was like me and my therapist is such a G. Like she has me out here making little star charts and like having me put little star stickers on things because I've got ADHD. So that works really well for me, like gamifying my life. And it has shown me that I am capable of consistency. I am capable of starting things and finishing things. And I feel like a lot of it for me, when I've tried to lose weight numerous times in my lifetime, and I've never been this successful. This is the most successful I have ever been. I really do attribute it to the consistency, my ability to be consistent over and over and over. And even if I see that I gained a pound or 2 pounds, I don't give up. I don't throw in the towel. I just go, that's just day. Like, just as like a side note, you have no idea how good it feels, because I'm like 5 months into this at this point. It feels so good to get on the scale and have a neutral feeling. Like I feel good or I feel bad about the scale. It is a neutral ground. It is a neutral, like, oh, this is just data and I'm being given data about what is going on with my body. That's it. I won't lie. Sometimes when it goes down, obviously I celebrate that because I'm tracking that. But if the scale goes up, I just take that as data. I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm dealing with water retention today. Maybe I am dealing with like the inflammation from all the walking I've been doing this week. If I weigh in a couple of days after a rest day, I bet it will go down. And it usually does. Like, I've been doing this for so long at this point that I've also seen the scale do this, like up and down, up and down, up and down, that I'm not scared of it. I'm like, oh, this is super normal for my weight to fluctuate like this. And I'm still losing overall. So yeah, anyways, I feel like I'm getting on a side tangent there. It's really been about building self-trust and building self-trust and building the like bridge of consistency with myself. That has made all the difference. And I do think it was meeting with a therapist every single week and working on that in my life. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about just some of my early wins from like the first few months, because I've talked to you a lot about like weight, and also I don't think I've said it, but I started this journey at 237.4 pounds. As of right now, I am down to 200 and, oh my gosh, what is it? I'm 35 pounds down. So I'm at like 202.4, I believe. I'd have to actually check my scale, but I'm at 202.4. So literally exactly 35 pounds down. But that's insane to me. In less than 5 months, I've been able to accomplish that. But this journey has been so much more than just weight loss. And I recommend this to anybody on a weight loss journey. I keep track of all of my weight loss wins month over month. So like every month since I started, I have lists of things that like, this is what changed for me. And most of them have nothing to do with pounds on the scale. So within the first month, okay, I did lose 11.2 pounds. That was huge in the first month. The first month, in my experience, is always the biggest because you also drop a bunch of water weight in the beginning. The next following months were not as large, and that's okay. I went down a bra size, a full cup size, which if y'all know anything about me, this is actually a celebratory thing. Some people would be really sad for their breast size to go down. I was not. I was sporting like an H cup or something. I'm actually down into a normal range now. And I say normal with air quotes because I think it's regional, but I can actually shop at like normal stores now for my bras and my clothes. Technically, I was shopping at like plus size stores, and now I'm at like the tail end of being able to shop at any store. Because I went from like a 2X and now I'm fitting pretty comfortably into extra large, sometimes a large, depending on what it is. I also consider this a win, but I started walking my first month in. And I actually started on the treadmill, and it was really hard. I will not lie to you. I couldn't make it around a track once, which a track is usually 4 times around as a mile. I couldn't even do a quarter of a mile without feeling like I was dying. Now, 5 months in, I can walk 2 miles on that track and it's no problem. But I started walking, and that was a huge win for me because it was something I wasn't doing. All my clothes started to fit, like my 2X clothing. All the clothes that I was owning were starting to humble me. I was starting to grow out of a 2X. So all my clothes started to fit within the first month. My anxiety came way down. And I think it's just because I was moving my body more, and that helped mentally for me. My energy level was through the roof. I no longer had these like crashes where every single day I was having like a carb sugar crash. I very seldom ever crash now. It's usually because I ate something sugary. I will have a crash. So I don't really crash anymore. My energy is very consistent. I also, literally within the first 2 weeks, my sleep apnea was gone. I no longer had sleep disturbances. I no longer would wake up with headaches from sleep apnea. And my husband also like reported something similar. Like we both noticed that that was a huge change for both of us almost immediately. And honestly, if you look it up, because I was like, what the hell? If you look it up, having a lot of refined sugar in your diets, which if like carbs turn into sugar. So like having a lot of refined sugar though, as well, because I was eating low carb, I also wasn't really eating refined sugar anymore either. Not from the carbs, but just in general, because a lot of the sugar foods are full of carbs. So like that's what makes them full of carbs is the sugar. So because I wasn't eating a bunch of refined sugar anymore, that actually causes inflammation, and it can inflame your lungs. It can inflame, like, not for everyone. Like please go see your doctor. Do not just be like, oh, Chloe knows the science of everything. No, I don't. Please always challenge what I say, because I think we should be out here critically thinking about information we get from everyone, including myself. I did look this up, and apparently that is a known thing. Like inflammation to the body caused by refined sugar and carbs. So yeah, my sleep apnea completely gone. The craziest one to me was my heartburn gone. Gone. I suffered with heartburn for I don't even know how many years. Gone. Like I can drink coffee now. This is a cup of coffee I have with me. I can drink coffee now and it is no big deal. Like this is fine. I can have this and I will not get heartburn from it. The only time I get heartburn now is if I've eaten something super spicy and I've eaten a lot of it. I will sometimes get it still, but for the most part, no heartburn. And I used to wake up in the middle of the night, like choking on acid reflux. Like it was that bad every single night. It was hell, actually. My sleep was getting very disturbed. And now, like, oh, that's another thing. Y'all baddies with heartburn know that you can't sleep, or I couldn't sleep on the right side of my body because it would make the heartburn worse. Because if you lay on your left side, that's the way that food actually digests, and it like helps food to digest and your heartburn to not be as intense. I can sleep on both sides of my body now. I don't have to sleep only on my left side. So that was like another huge win. I'll read you another month. So month 2, this is January 1st through the 31st. My onesie with the flare pants isn't riding up my crotch anymore, and there's a gap. So I actually have photos of this if I haven't already shown them in the video. This is the before and this is the after, and that within a month. My clothes were fitting so much better. I officially got out of class 2 obese during month 2 and into class 1. This was actually crazy. So this ring that I have on right now, I could get it on, but not comfortably. Like my hand would start to hurt because it was really too tight. And now this ring I wear all the time. Like this is the ring that I've been sporting as my wedding ring, even though it's not. And it fits my hand like perfectly now. So that makes me really happy. Like there's so much jewelry I had that I was just unable to wear because my fingers had gotten fat. Like I couldn't wear a lot of my jewelry. This was actually so crazy. My husband bought me some Valentine's Day pajamas when he asked me to be his Valentine because he's so precious. And the pajamas, they were too big. I got them in my typical size of like a 2X, and I actually had to take them back and exchange them for an extra large because they were astronomically and comically too big by this point. And that felt really good, being like, oh my God, I'm not even a 2X anymore, which is just crazy. I don't currently wear my Oura ring, but my Oura ring, I had to move fingers on as well because it wasn't fitting on the finger I had it on. I got my first before and after shots. Like I had a before shot already. I took my first after shot where I felt like I had noticeable difference during my second month. I upped my Apple Fitness goal from 30 minutes to an hour. So if you have an Apple Watch, there's like rings that you close every day if you're doing fitness challenges. And one of the rings is activity. And I upped mine from 30 minutes to an hour, and I was hitting it most days. And this one's kind of funny, but somebody wants to know the sexual activities, if you know what I'm saying. They were already good. I do not have trouble in that department. Like I always say that if me and my man ever were to split up, I would be devastated because we are very, very, very sexually compatible. But if I didn't think it could get better, I was wrong. The sexual activities got somehow better. So that was cool. Noticeable, like less pain in my hips and joints as well with that. I also lowered a notch on my Apple Watch. So like this watch that I have on right now, I've actually gone down 2-3 notches since then. But during that second month, I was down a notch. So that was cool. It's kind of like, you know, when somebody goes down like a belt notch, like my Apple Watch was the thing that I noticed because I don't wear belts. And then also final thing for the second month was I had a strapless bra that I had kept because it's a good bra, but it was way too small on me. I had like extenders that I would put on it and it still was kind of too small. That bra fits me now. I don't actually have to put any extenders. And if anything, I have to secure it a little bit tighter at this point. So those were like a bunch of wins that I experienced. Most of them were just health related wins, but there were also just like clothing and physical appearance wins. And like it happens that fast, I think, is what I wish more people knew, is if you give yourself the consistency, it happens that fast. And I'm not saying it will be that fast for every single person. Like it depends on how you do it and what you do. And like there is kind of a rhythm to it. But I think consistency over anything is the thing I will recommend. But that's ultimately what a lot of my initial wins were. And I do feel like my biggest mindset shifts around this were, number one, it is forever. And this is something that I wish past Chloe could have understood, is I don't think even when I hit my goal of 140 pounds, that's my goal. I don't think even when I hit my goal weight, I will stop eating low carb. I genuinely love the way I feel when I eat this way. And I need to say, like, this doesn't mean that I never eat carbs. I still have a little sugary boba every once in a while. I go out for a little pastry at a coffee shop every once in a while. I'm still going to eat cake on my birthday. Like, I am not cutting everything out for my entire life. It is just 99% of my time I am eating in this way. And I make room for little treats here and there. But I'm also very like, I don't need to go overboard with them. I tell myself all the time, I can have whatever I want. I just can't have it all right now. I can have whatever I want. I just can't have it all right now. And that really helps me. That helps me to like stay dedicated and remind myself like, oh, actually, I don't need to do all that. That is doing the most. Like, and also I just don't like the way I feel when I eat. Like there was a few nights ago, it was probably like a week and a half ago, my husband and I got a pizza for dinner, and I had like 3 pieces of pizza and a bunch of garlic bread. And normally I don't even eat like that. Like if I was being demure and eating like the proper amount for me, I probably would have had like a slice of pizza and a couple slices of garlic bread because they're really small. And that would have been it. And I would have been satisfied with that. But I was eating like a goblin because I let myself get really hungry instead of like having a snack and handling my satiety before dinner. I ate like a monster and then I felt like shit. So like it just, and I don't mean monster like derogatory, like I'm a demon for doing that, but like, you know, a cute little cuddly monster that just like likes pizza. I ate like a little monster and then I felt like shit. And I feel like that's also something I've come to be very aware of. I am so in tune with my body at this time that I don't even enjoy what I used to do. It's not fun for me. I don't enjoy gorging myself on food. I don't enjoy eating out multiple times in a week. I don't enjoy, like, I already wasn't a big drinker, but like, I don't really enjoy drinking. I don't enjoy it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I feel like the consequences outweigh the pleasure that it used to give me. And so I've just made a change. Anyways, the mindset shifts. That's really what I wanted to talk about is, yes, it is hard at first. I don't feel like for me it was super, super hard, but I think I had fire under my ass, number one. I had a lot of motivation going in, which you don't need motivation. That shit's a myth. Like, you are the motivation factory, and it is your consistency and your results that will actually keep you sustaining in what you're doing. And I think because I saw results so quickly, I was like, oh, this actually totally works for me. I love what I'm doing. My partner is on board. That makes it even easier. And within the first like 2 months, it just became a lifestyle. So I do actually feel like this will be forever for me. My point to like deviating out was to point out that like, I'm not going to just eat a fruit cup on my birthday and call that my birthday. Like, I'm going to have cake on my birthday. Like, it's not this all or nothing mentality. It's, I eat this way most of the time. And I think I will continue this habit probably for the rest of my life. Like, as long as it is serving me. If it stops serving me at some point, I will make a change. I also feel like something I don't hear enough people talk about, and I used to be this person, so I get it, but I weigh out. Not all of my food, because now I've gotten to a point where I can eyeball it and I'm really good at it because I trained myself to be. But yes, I eat low carb. Yes, I weigh my food out. Yes, I eat in a calorie deficit. Yes, I move my body. That's it. Those are my things. And honestly, I probably could do regular carbs and just do a calorie deficit and it would work. But I like the way I feel on a low carb diet, so I continue that. And something that I feel like I did not want to hear when I first got into it was I was so tainted, jaded by the diet industry and growing up being on diets from a really young age that I was so resistant to counting a calorie. I was so resistant to weighing out food. I felt like this felt like an astronomical ask and chore of me. And honestly, I think seeing results in my life so quickly, I was like, no, this is only hard because I'm making it hard. Like, this actually becomes really easy if I let it become easy. And now this is just normal life. I have a scale. I know how to use it. I honestly don't even really need to track my calories anymore because I know what to eat and what not to eat because I did it so consistently that I don't like, it is forever, but it's not forever is kind of what I'm trying to say. Like, there are habits that I formed that are the backbone of what I'm doing, but the hard part of like being so meticulous about everything, that is not forever. You do that for like 3 months and you're golden, in my opinion. That's really how I feel like I've mastered that, is like, I did the hard thing for a few months. It never really felt that hard to me because, like I said, I was seeing results so early on that I was like, oh, this is all I've been avoiding. Like, I've been avoiding counting a fucking calorie. And I could have just been doing this the whole time and still like eating really good. And it could have just worked out. I was almost a little pissed that I wouldn't let myself do it. And again, I'm not saying that it's for everybody. Like, would I love if everybody took charge of their health in ways that made sense for them? Yes. But it's like, do it in your own way. Do what makes sense for you. But I just feel like it's important to note that for anybody that is like, oh, I would love for that to work for me. So make it work for you if that's how you feel. Like, make it work for you. Do the thing that you feel like would empower you. I feel like for me, something that really needed to happen is I needed to have consistency so I could understand. Like, oh my gosh, something that really pisses me off. I feel like I could probably do a whole episode on like weight loss hot takes and things that piss me off is it pisses me off when people give false information and they say things like, counting calories doesn't work. Literally, yes, it does. Like I said, I could not be low carb. I could decide to just track calories and be at a deficit, and I would lose weight. Every single diet that you know under the sun, that is all it is calories in versus calories out. There are just numerous different kinds of ways of tracking it. So like, let's say I just wanted to be low carb. I could be low carb and not count calories, and I probably would still lose weight, but that's because I would limit my carbs and I would count those instead. Like at the end of the day, if I looked at all the food that I had eaten and added the total calories for all of it, it would still be in a calorie deficit. Does that make sense? Like, it's the same with Weight Watchers. They teach you their system, but they don't really tell you exactly why or how it works. It works because it puts you in a calorie deficit. Calorie deficits do work, but I do think a lot of us, myself included, previously had a relationship with calorie counting and calorie deficits that it was not good for my mental health to be on a calorie deficit because I would get so stressed out by having to count this stuff. And this is why I'm a firm believer. You need a therapist. You don't need a weight loss plan. You need a therapist. Because now that's neutral territory to me. It is neutral for me to count calories. It doesn't mean anything. It is just data. I am just tracking data so that I can help my body reach the goals I'm trying to reach. And so that really ticks me off. It also ticks me off when I hear other people that really are trying and they want to lose weight, but they say things like, oh, I tried counting calories, but that didn't work. Honey, did you do it for 3 months? Did you allow your body time to adjust? Because I got to tell you, sometimes it just takes time. The consistency will win. Because what I see, and I've seen this with myself, what I have seen is I would track my calories, be consistent for 5 days, not see anything budge on the scale, get pissed off, throw in the towel, eat whatever I wanted over the weekend, and then claim that it didn't work. It didn't work because there was no consistency behind the work, babe. Like, no. And I'm talking more to myself than anybody else. But when I see this, it frustrates me because it does work. And I wish somebody had pulled me aside and told me this shit. I wish somebody had sat me down and been like, look, do it for 3 months consistently. See what happens. Tell me you don't lose weight. Like, you will. And don't even get me started on the metabolism argument. That shit pisses me off too. Don't piss me off. I can't even talk about that. I can't even broach the topic of that right now because that shit makes me mad. The amount of false information going around on that. I don't know what diet industry was like, let's tell everybody that their metabolism is slow. Honey, it's not your metabolism. I also feel like meals on repeat was a huge mindset shift because I used to be like, oh, I have to have a different dinner every night. No, you don't. I'm not saying you got to eat the same thing for dinner 4 nights in a row. That's a bit excessive for me. But like, you can eat the same dinner twice. It is okay. Like, eating the same meals on repeat just makes it easy. Make it easy for yourself. I also feel like saying no to food gets easy. Like, that was something I used to struggle with, is if like somebody had food at a location, I would always be like, oh, I need to restrict what I'm eating because I'm going to go eat this thing over here. No, I can actually just socialize and show up. And if I'm already fed and not hungry, I don't actually need to eat. Like, it is okay to not eat if you are not hungry. And this is something that I feel like used to stress me out. It's like, oh, but that would be rude. But like, bitch, it's rude to disrespect my body like that. Fuck being rude to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And I also feel like something that really had to click for me is food was the center of my life. Prior to this, food was the center of my life. It was my biggest coping tool. I went into debt for food. Like, it was such a problem for me that it like controlled my whole life. If I was going to have something for my birthday, center it around food. If I was going to get together with friends, center it around food. If I was having a bad day, my day is now centered around food. Like, any kind of celebration or like anything, food was always the answer. And I feel like decentering food and taking it off the pedestal made such a difference in my life. Huge mindset shift. That actually probably has been like one of the bigger ones that has changed for me, is my life just isn't centered around food anymore. And there's so many like little things that you maybe don't even realize. Like I used to make myself finish my plate if I was like eating out to dinner or even at home. And now if my body is, I got like back in touch with my hunger and fullness. And if my body says no more, why would I punish myself like that? Like it is not better with me. Put that shit in the trash or save it for later. Like you can have everything you want. You just can't have it all right now, babe. You know? And I also feel like the biggest thing, the biggest, I know I keep saying that, but like everyone is just better. I took a lot of notes for this episode. The biggest thing for me was ultimately discipline built self-respect and confidence. Like I used to be a shell of myself with no confidence, no self-respect, didn't believe in myself. I would on some things, like I would have like things that I knew I believed in myself about, but I feel like overall, like even the way I carry myself in the world is with more self-respect, and how I like take care of myself just in general, because I've proven to myself that I am a trustworthy person for myself. And I've done that through consistency time and time again. So that was huge. All right, y'all. That's all I want to say on what I did. I hope that this episode was fun for you and you kind of got a peek into it. We're going to talk more about these things in depth in the coming episodes, but this was kind of just like the overall first glance on like where I've been, what I've been doing, what shifted, what changed. And I would really love if you listen to this entire episode, please leave me the little like sparkly heart emoji. It's one of my favorites. It's pink with the little sparkles. And if you would be so kind, leave me a question. I want to eventually do an episode talking about answering your weight loss questions or like anything about this journey. I want to do a full episode just going over them. So please leave me a question. If you're on Spotify, you can leave a question. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a question. I don't believe any other podcast place has comments available, unfortunately, but definitely do that if you can. And if you have something you really want to know about this, because I really am that person that is a massive open book about these kinds of things. And ultimately, I am making this because I hope somebody that sees it, that wants to change their life in this way, I want you to feel confident in yourself and know that you can. I want to help you. And that's the only reason I'm showing up to do this. Like there have been so many times over the last month that I've been like, why am I even doing what I'm doing? And I've had to really think about it. And I am doing this and sharing this very vulnerably and openly because I hope that it helps someone else. So please let me know if you've got any questions. Leave me that little emoji so I can say, hey, and know that you listened to the whole thing. And also, please check out the description if you want to follow me on Instagram or anywhere else around the web, anything else that I'm doing. And eventually I'm going to create a weight loss guide. Eventually I'm going to make a weight loss tracker for y'all. Like I'm working on these things. Know that they are coming. They're just, I could have delayed the podcast more to make these things. And I was like, nah, we just got to start moving with the podcast and we will get there. So definitely make sure you're checking out my website as well, chloetaylor.com, if you want to see that. And if you would be so kind and you haven't done it, please leave a rating for my podcast or wherever you're listening. There's usually somewhere to rate the podcast. So leave me a rating and, Hey there, Girlypop. It's time for the Yapper Girl Corner. Girl, you don't even let me say hello. I know, but it's my turn. All right. It is about time for the Girlypop Corner. I know we're all so excited. I'm actually really excited for it. Come on. You know everybody watches this just for this part anyways. All right, girl. Come in here. Let's go. Okay, bye. Oh my goodness gracious, Girly Pops. Why do I feel like I am so tall in this chair right now? Let's, ooh, okay, that's better. Hello, my girly pops. Welcome into the Yapper Girl Corner. I did bring a drink with us. These are my favorite. It is 0-calorie poison, I'm sure, but this is the Clear American Sweetened Peach. This is the best flavor. The black cherry is also really good, but the mandarin orange is mid. And I've also tried the strawberry, and unless you're like really into strawberry soda, the strawberry version is also kind of mid. But the peach, Girlypop. This right here, it's like $3 for a case at Walmart. If you're going to drink the poison anyway, drink the 0-calorie poison. Anyways, hello, welcome to the Yapper Girl Corner. Oh my God, I feel like I haven't done one of these in forever because I think even our last episode, we didn't have a Yapper Girl Corner. Oh my God, I feel like the camera is also like off. There we go. Okay, now I feel like we are properly situated. But as I was saying, I feel like the last episode, we didn't have one because to me, the whole episode was a Yapper Girl Corner. And so we didn't do this. And I've been gone for so much time. I actually have things to talk to you about. So I feel like first and foremost, I hope everybody likes the new rebranding. I feel really good about the cover image. Like, if you could just please clap for me a little bit. Yes, I am fishing for compliments. Feel free to give them. At least I'm being an honest hoe about it. But I'm actually really proud of this. Like, one of my friends was like, oh, I'm not saying that it looks like AI, but it reminds me of all those pictures that people were rendering in AI that had like Scream in the background when people were on the phone. If y'all know, you know. This was not AI generated. I shot this myself and did all the editing myself. But I'm living for our new cover image. I feel like it really fits the aesthetic of where I am in my life right now as a person and like how much more confident I have also become. Like, let me just tell you, having lost, technically, I think I'm at like 33.8 pounds. And I've been teetering back and forth between that and 35 pounds down. So I actually don't know right where I'm at today, which this is really normal. I see my weight fluctuate every single week, but overall, I'm still losing. But I have to tell y'all, I have the opposite of whatever body dysmorphia is. I have delusion. Like, when I lost my first like 15 pounds, I was like, oh my God, how I feel about myself on the inside is how I am reflecting on the outside. I look so good. I look so hot. Like, confidence is through the roof. And I will be the first person to tell you, I don't have time, space, or energy for anyone that's like, you're so full of yourself. Bitch, who was I supposed to be full of? I've said it before and I'll say it again. We have already tried being full of everybody else. Try being full of yourself and see how that goes. Like, I understand why people say that and what it is supposed to insinuate, but I just think we should take it back. I think we should take it back, and I think we should be full of ourselves, and like, whatever gets you to feel confident in your own skin, whatever that is like, do that thing. I feel like something else, and then we're going to get into like all the hobbies and things I've been up to. Something else I just wanted to say in a more like, I feel like the first part of my episodes are like very structured. And so this is me just like, you know, like, I don't even have a bra on. Like, I come here, no bra, in my jammies, with my fucking millennial ass makeup headband on. This is just like the vibe. I feel like it's a lot more like raw and honest and less like presentable in that way. But so I feel like talking about my weight loss journey here as well a little bit, it just like, I just feel very good. I don't feel as locked in as I did in the first couple of months, but I also think that that is normal. I think that is normal to like be really locked in at first and not fall off the wagon. Girl, I'm not off any wagon. There is no wagon. Like, the habits that I have formed are habits that I just have now. Like, I still walk. I still eat in a calorie deficit most of the time. I'm still like doing the things, but I don't feel as like restricted or regimented about them. Like, today I went to Cheesecake Factory for brunch, and that's normal. Like, it's not something I do every day. It's just something that it makes it into my life maybe a couple of times a month. But in the beginning, I didn't do none of that. Like even on my husband's birthday, he's a Sagittarius. So that happened during the first month. I made a low carb cheesecake to have on his birthday. I didn't eat whatever, like he had like Costco cheesecake or something. I chose to like stick to my plan. So I do feel like I'm not as like strict and regimented as I was in the beginning. But I also think it's normal and good if you are able to do that without losing the plot, to like almost take breaks and then lock back in, because it also helps your body to like get used to where you are. I want to say there have been studies done, and I've read about them, but unfortunately did not earmark them. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, look it up for yourself. But I want to say that I have read that your body can like go into like almost like a famine mode if you're not careful, and you are just like losing. And it's actually good to kind of like level off for a little bit and then get back to it. So, and I am still losing. I haven't like just sat and maintained. I'm just losing a little bit slower right now because I'm not as locked in. I would say I'm currently losing about like a half pound a week, where previously I was losing like 2 pounds a week, if not like somewhere in that range. Sometimes I would go a week losing a pound, and then like the next week I would lose 3. So I feel like in the beginning it was more, but I'm not mad because I think I'm making more time to actually live my life, and not like this. To me, I imagine when I eventually hit maintenance is going to be similar to how I will live my life. I just might have a little bit more calorically that I would be eating to maintain. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about a bunch of other stuff. So I actually did bring notes because I was like, I don't want to miss anything. I want to talk about everything. So first and foremost, the new podcast, I kind of talked about the cover a little bit. I have been doing a lot of walking, and obviously y'all know that I've mentioned that already in this episode, but something that I started doing that has been so good is I've been in therapy, y'all know, and I was telling my therapist recently that I feel like I have a very hard time just being with myself. Like ever since I had the panic attacks of 2021, I'm just like afraid of my own brain sometimes. And I know there are people out there that can relate to this. I know that I am not alone. It's like you kind of become hyper aware and like afraid that you'll think yourself into one, which I feel like I can do if I'm not careful. And so I was like, it just kind of puts me in this like hyper vigilant state all the time when I'm not in a flow state working or doing something. I feel like I always have to be doing something. And prior to that, I always felt like I had to be doing something because I was raised in a house that like didn't let anybody rest, right? My parents didn't, especially my dad, didn't let anybody rest. So I went from like one hypervigilant state to another, and my therapist, she is so awesome. She was like, well, what are some things that you think you could commit to that are like non-distracting, that would be an easier way for you to get into it? And we came up with a few things, but one of those was walking without my headphones, which is something that like in the year 2026, when all of us are overstimulated and like always listening to YouTube and like, or music, or we have all of this tech at our disposal and distraction at our disposal, I was like, yeah, I think I could commit to like walking without headphones. The first walk I did was difficult. I was not used to that. But like midway through the walk, I was like, oh, this is just what it feels like to be with myself. This is actually kind of nice. It's actually really safe for me to do this. And I've just been consecutively doing that. Not every single walk do I do this, because sometimes I like to use my walks as like my podcast listening to time, or I'll call my sister. Like sometimes I like to use that time to do something else. I would say most of my walks are without distraction. And it has really helped me to like come home to myself more and more. So that's been really cool. And I wanted to share it because I know there are other of you out there that struggle mentally, and maybe that could actually very much help someone. I keep track of it with a star chart, like a chart that I printed out off of Canva. And then I have little star stickers that every time I do a walk with no distraction, I put a star on there, and then every like 5, I get a prize, but I also didn't decide on the prize. So right now I feel like I'm just like gaining stars, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Like, I haven't really picked a prize, because in the past I would do like food prizes, but because I'm on a weight loss journey, like food prizes feel very counterproductive. So I don't even know and like, it has to be something that like fits my budget. You know, I can't be out here like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy this $80 video game every time I walk 5 times. Like, girl, catch me doing an undistracted walk every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Like, catch me doing the most. If that, like, it has to be something that is like something I want, but also can't be like breaking the piggy bank. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all have any ideas, I would love to hear them, and preferably non-food related items. Okay. So I've already talked to y'all about, honestly, let's talk about hobbies. Let's talk about, girl, this has been the year of Chloe Taylor's hobbies expanding, which has been really nice, because I know not everybody knows, not everybody has been here hanging out with me on this podcast or in any capacity digitally since the gaming days. And honestly, I don't think there is a single person here that has been with me since 2010, when I had a channel that went by the name Chloe Kitten. That's like old lore. That channel doesn't even exist anymore. I don't think not one person knows me from that time period, but I've been a digital creator for so long and creating was my thing. Like, I have churned so many, and this is such a millennial coded, like, girl boss bullshit, but I have churned so many of my hobbies into careers. And though I think that's really rad and really cool, it also comes at a cost. It comes at a cost to the love of the things that I liked. And this is something I've had to like really reconcile with, because I got to a place several years ago, really, where I felt like I didn't have any hobbies. And I kind of just was like, well, I guess work's my hobby. I guess I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. And that's just like, that is very unsustainable. So this year, though, has been the year of hobbies. And I, first and foremost, have picked up cross stitching. So I'll show you my little cross stitch project. I don't think I've shown this anywhere, or if I have, maybe on like Instagram or something, I maybe have talked about it, but I have picked up cross stitching. This is my first project. There's a lot of mistakes in it, but it's been really great. Shout out to Colorfully Sarah on Instagram. She is the person that I like. Her channel on YouTube and her Instagram were what introduced me to cross stitching. Her patterns are so good. Her aesthetic is gorgeous. Like, she inspires me to be a better creator, even though we're in totally different niches. I love the work that she does. And it just like, if you need a cozy creator to go get obsessed with, like, go watch her. But she got me really into cross stitch. I don't know her personally. Wish I did. She seems like a really cool person, but maybe parasocially. But this pattern that I've started working on is one of her patterns. And if you're not watching the video, it's like jelly cats, but they're all fall related jelly cats, which I don't own a single jelly cat. Isn't that devastating? How am I, a millennial that's obviously hanging on to my youth by a fucking thread, not into jelly cats with the Gen Z girlies? What am I doing? I need to get me a jelly cat. I need to put a jelly cat on my birthday wish list. Yeah, I don't have a jelly cat, and I think that's devastating, but it's a bunch of little fall jelly cats, and it's just it's so me. It's something that I would do. I do feel like I picked a really hard project to start with, so it's taken me a while. Like, I've been working on this for a couple of months, and I would say that I cross stitch every week. Like, I don't go weeks without picking this project up. Not yet anyways. And of course, in millennial ADHD hobby fashion, I already have a jelly cat, or not a jelly cat. I already have a cross stitch pattern picked out for when this one is done. Like, I have all the thread and everything ready to do my next project. So typical, I feel like, of, you know, half of ADHD is like collecting hobbies and then not doing the hobby, but I am actually doing this one. So that's been really nice. I feel like it's a very like calming expression as well. So I've been doing a lot of that. I did, in fact, get a Switch 2. My husband gifted one to me. And the games that I received so far, I have Pokopia, which that's why I wanted a Switch 2, was to play Pokopia. I've been playing Pokopia. I'm not really into Pokemon. Like, I played Pokemon Sun, was my first ever introduction to a Pokemon game. I did grow up watching the show and collecting the cards, but I would not say that I was ever like playing the Game Boy games like that. I had a Game Boy, but I didn't play Pokemon. And my first introduction to a game, actually, I did used to play Pokemon Snap on N64 and Pokemon Stadium, but I don't think I was like good at either of those games. I just had them. So I would not say that I was like a Pokemon kid growing up, but like it was there. I wouldn't say that it was ever like I was definitely there for the craze, but it was never like I wanted a Pokemon party or I owned a bunch of Pokemon stuff, you know? So I'm not super into Pokemon, but Pokopia, this game, even if you're not into Pokemon, this game is tits. Like, it's like a better Animal Crossing. It reminds me of if Minecraft and Animal Crossing made a baby and make it Pokemon. Very good game. I've really been enjoying it. I think I'm about 30 or 40 hours in. And then I also just got this week Tamagotchi Life. Tamagotchi Life, if you're a Gemini, okay, if you have Gemini placements, this game was made for you. I don't care what anybody says. This game was made for Gemini placements. I'm a Gemini moon and this shit hits hard. It's made for like, you know, I think you could argue that there's a few other astrological placements that would really enjoy it. But this shit is so Gemini coded. It's like all about being an overlord of like a bunch of little people that you make. And of course, I put myself in my town, my husband, my best friend, and then I started adding like the cast of Gossip Girl. So I have Blair Waldorf, Chuck Bass. I just added Serena Vanderwoodson, and who else is on? I think that's it for me right now. I think I only have 6 people on my island so far, but I'm going to have like the whole cast of Gossip Girl. I'm going to bring the Vampire Diaries cast in, probably Pretty Little Liars. Like, these are the people I want on my island. And you can like get really detailed with it and then just like watch them interact and see what happens. It's funny. It's pretty fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm probably less than 10 hours in. Like, I would say maybe even less than 5 hours in, but that's been a new hobby for me. And then also, this one's actually kind of cute. I recently picked up a book on how to draw anime characters, because this is actually something I used to do when I was in middle school. I loved Inuyasha. Okay. I was a big Inuyasha fan, and I used to, this is how crazy the lore goes, okay? The people with VHSs in their homes growing up, or VHS players, will understand, maybe. You might just think I'm weird. But I used to get blank VHSs and record Inuyasha on these blank VHSs because I didn't have TiVo. Like, TiVo was a thing where you could pause and rewind the TV. We didn't have that. So I would record and I would like sit and watch Inuyasha, and I would stop the recording when it would go on commercial and then start the recording when it came back. And like, I also at one point got a second VHS player because my TV had one built into it. And then I got one on the side and I started to like record episodes and then put another VHS player in the other player, and then like take my original recording, record onto a new tape, but get rid of the commercials. I had way too much time on my hand as a kid and did not have parental guidance and was terribly socialized because of all of my medical history. Like, yeah, I was doing the most as a kid, but I would do this and then I would like watch the episodes again and like freeze frame the anime characters, like pause it and then just try to draw them. I would freeze frame them and then try to draw them. And so this was something that like I actually got kind of good at in middle school, never enough to like draw manga, but I really enjoyed the process. So this is something I kind of want to try to get back into just because it was something I used to love to do. And right now I'm just practicing drawing anime eyes, but eventually I'll get into like full faces and hopefully eventually bodies. But yeah, it's been a really interesting like This is something I've just never done, and I've always wanted to do it. So that's been really fun. I told you, it's been the year of hobbies. Like, my hobbies be coming back in full force. Some other things I've been really obsessed with lately, okay? Get out a pen and a paper if you are a Starbucks Girlypop and you like banana. I actually would say, even if you don't like banana, you should try this. If you like banana bread, you should try this. I've got a custom order for you, but my current obsession, I actually had one today, is a banana bread latte. It's not on their menu. You have to custom make it, but this is how I order it. You get a grande iced blonde latte with whatever kind of milk you want. I usually do almond milk because I keep it low carb, even though I'm drinking all this sugar, so it really doesn't matter, but I'm trying to cut it where I can. Then you do 1 pump of hazelnut, 1 pump of the brown sugar, and then you top it with banana cold foam and then cinnamon dolce sprinkle on top. Oh, you will not regret this. It tastes like banana bread in a cup, but make it coffee. And I probably have one of these at least once a week. Maybe that should be my prize. I know I shouldn't do like food prizes, but I feel like if I'm only going to do it once, maybe that could be a good prize for my like de-stimulating walks. Maybe I could also do like a tall instead of a grande. Like, I don't know. That maybe could be something that would be like, oh, I could do that. And I have Starbucks really close to my house too, so might be worth it. But I'm loving that. Try that if you're a banana girl. And I would argue, even if you're not a banana girl, I think it's actually still good. Cause I'm not a banana girl. I don't like bananas in my smoothies. I think it ruins them. I don't like a peanut butter and banana sandwich. I like bananas and I like banana bread, but that's about it. I think banana is such an overpowering flavor that I don't like it in most things. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment. So even if you're somebody that feels that way, I think you would still like it. Okay, moving on. I'm also really into Desperate Housewives. I don't know if I was the last time we talked, but I'm on season 6 now. That is like where I'm on season 6. I think there's 8 seasons in total. And this shit is just so hot fire flames. Like, I love this show because it is de-stimulating. Like, the show is so comically predictable that it doesn't like rile me up. You know how shows can just do that sometimes? Like, they're really suspenseful or scary, or you like get secondhand embarrassment for the characters. I feel like this show is almost painfully predictable in a way that I'm always like, oh, I know what's going to happen with this. And they kind of do it on purpose, I feel like. So I really enjoy it. And it doesn't feel like this overwhelming show. I'm actually happy I've been taking my time with it because I think I'll be really sad when I'm done. I won't know what to get into next. On top of that, I've also, and I think we maybe talked about this before, we should probably do a whole analog episode of the podcast, but I've been collecting the physical media. So like, I have season 1 of Desperate Housewives that I've collected. I want all of them, but I've only found the first one so far because I buy from like local places. I got season 1 through 4 of Pretty Little Liars, season 1 of Vampire Diaries, all the seasons of Gossip Girl. I've been collecting a lot of physical media because I am just so done with how all of these companies are raising prices. Like, all within the same month, YouTube Premium went up by $5, Netflix went up by $5, Amazon Prime raised their prices on ad-free, and like, I deleted all of them. I was like, I don't need any of this. I'm going back to physical media. I think this is criminal and it's gross and it is greed. There is no other reason because they already make so much money. There is no other reason other than greed. And I'm just really over it. I'm really over it. I think we need laws in place that keep companies like this from doing things like this. And I think the only way to fight back is to collect physical media and to go back to, or pirate, which like, I'm not condoning that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not condoning that. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying you should pirate things. But I feel like that's like what we're opening the door for because these companies are just, anyways, I digress. That shit pisses me off and I'm mad about it. So I've been collecting a lot of physical media. Oh, I also got the entire collection of Sex and the City, not the new seasons, but the original seasons. And I already own the movies on DVD, but I got the entire collection for $20 in like mint condition. So really happy about that too. Pawn shops are really good for looking for stuff like that. If you're somebody that wants to collect, pawn shops are really good. And if you're local in Washington, where I live, we have something called Half Price Books here. They have some of the best media collection I've ever seen. And it's cheap. Like I got the entire series of Gossip Girl for, I want to say like under $40 for 6 seasons. So if you are local to a Half Price Books, go, because they sell digital media as well. Anyways, I digress. I've been listening to, I think it's called Isle of the Queen. It's Queen Herbie's new album. My favorite song is the first song on the album, which is Aura Poppins. Just listen to it. If you need a bop, if you need a banger, listen to it. I also feel like that's really the bulk of what I've been up to, actually. Like I have some other notes, but I feel like we kind of already covered it in the main part of the episode. But I feel like I've really been in this very like, I don't want to sound corny, but I feel like I'm in almost like the cocoon state. You know how they talk about like artists have to go through a time period where they step back and they assess where they are and they learn new things about themselves and then they create art from that space. And I do think, even though I'm not making music or movies, I still make art in my own way. And I really feel like I'm just deep in like a cocoon state where I don't really know exactly where I'm going or what I'm doing next. I have some ideas. I have some thoughts about that. But ultimately, I'm really just trying to live my life. And I feel like I have felt this way for a while. Like previous things that I have done, I feel like I have felt this way. And also, I feel like there's something to be said, and this is probably such a larger conversation we could have. There's something to be said about putting yourself vulnerably out there in the digital space, but then also like that is its own kind of box or container, and then breaking that box down and being like, oh, actually, I don't need that anymore either. It's really hard to exist online as an ever evolving person because it's like the commodity is yourself or your art, and it's what people follow you for and what they expect from you. And then you break that down and you don't want to do that thing anymore. And it's like, like, I don't know. I feel like y'all can tell that I'm a little confused about it right now. I'm sure, because I am, but I'm not unhappy. I'm not unhappy. And I might be a little confused. I might be a little bit like uncertain of what the road ahead is going to be like. But I'm not unhappy. I feel like I have implemented so much in my life that makes me happy, that makes me feel good, even in the delicate state of times that we are living through right now. I have implemented so much to make my life so much more full that I'm not unhappy, but I definitely think there's a lot of room for growth and change. Anyways, we don't need to be all deep and philosophical. The Yapper Girl Corner is supposed to be fun, okay? It's supposed to be fun and like, what is the shit I'm into? So that's all the shit that I'm into. I know earlier Chloe already let you off and was like, bye Felicia's. But if you listen to the Yapper Girl Corner, please leave me a little croissant emoji. Confuse everybody down below that doesn't watch this part of the podcast. And I will leave you a little croissant back, okay? I will leave you a cute little pastry back of some kind. And thank you so much if you did stick around for this long. I appreciate you. Please do not forget, when you stand on your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. And follow your plan and not your mood. Bye.